Hello to everyone. It's me, Miss Yassy. Okay, this video that I'm about to do is a very serious matter. September is National Suicide Prevention Month. Coincidentally, on September 1st, I actually got a call regarding suicide. Since January, when I released the book, I have had 6 calls that I've had to deal with thus far regarding suicide. Suicide is a very serious matter. A lot of people seem to think that suicide is, oh, the person is just looking attention. This is a cry for help. It is a serious cry for help, and someone talking about suicide should be taken seriously. They have given you all the signs before, and this is the ultimate last resort for them to cry out for help. That's why suicide should be taken very seriously. It is a desperate plea for help that you seriously need to take attention to it. So I'm hoping that this video will help another. So share, and here we go. So what are the facts about suicide? Suicide is the number 2 cause of death in America between the ages of 10 and 18 years old. Someone, a young child, decides to commit suicide every 2 hours and 3 minutes in America. That's a lot. That is a lot. Think about what I've just said. Every 2 hours and 3 minutes, someone in America has committed suicide. That's how serious this situation is. More teenagers and young adults die from suicide than all of these combined. Cancer, heart disease, AIDS, birth defects, strokes, pneumonia, influenza, and chronic lung disease. Combine all those deaths of those illnesses, suicide trumps all. It's very serious, and it should be taken very seriously. Every day in our nation, there's an average of 5,400 attempts of suicide between the grade level of 7th and 12th grade. These are the facts. These are the facts that we know about suicide. Like I said, I have assisted suicides 6 times since January. Most recent was on September 1st. On a personal level, I've always been asked, have I ever thought about committing suicide? The truth is, when I was about 13 or 14 years old, and everything went down with my mother, and my grandfather passed away, I started feeling like I was the root of everyone's problems. And that if I was no longer around, maybe my mother would not have gone through what she gone through. Maybe my grandfather would not have to go through what he went through. And my grandmother wouldn't have to go through what she went through. And there was a point in time, I never said that I wanted to commit suicide, but I many times said out loud, I don't want to be here. Those were signs that were all overlooked with me. My desperate plea came when I completely took a scissors and cut off all of my hair. That was after the many cries of outbursts. My smart mouth tongue got me in trouble. I started failing in school, and my last ditch effort before thinking to myself that I don't want to be here was when I cut off all my hair. And that's when my grandmother finally said, hold up, something is wrong. What is wrong with you? What's going on with you? And that's when I opened up and I told her a little bit about how I was feeling. And that's when she started trying to show me measures, tried to help me to cook. She tried to encourage me into gardening, and none of that would pull me out of where I was, how far I was in my mind, until she showed me how to sew. And that is how she pulled me out of the state that I was in. But many times I told a lot of people that I just didn't want to be here. And a lot of people took that for granted. And those are buzzwords, not necessarily that a person is going to commit suicide when they say they don't want to be here, but it's a cry for help. And that it's our job as a community, as an individual, as a human, to just listen to what this person is telling you. If someone is telling you they don't want to be here, stop everything you're doing and ask questions. What do you mean you don't want to be here? those things are very critical. The person is reaching out for help. I'm going to now just tell you about the signs and the symptoms of suicide. Now, some of these signs and symptoms can also be causes for other things, such as they could be just sad, or they're going through depression, or on the brink of depression, or it could be hormonal as well. But these are just signs that you need to pay close attention to when it comes to suicide. I'm back. Okay, is the person threatening to harm or kill themselves? Is the person acting out, trying to get pills, knives, guns, etc.? Is the person talking about death and dying? Is the person writing or drawing about death, gory, blood, suicide? Is the person showing rage, anger, or seeking revenge? Is the person giving away their possessions? That is big. If you see somebody all of a sudden starting to give away the things that they treasure, that is a telltale sign that they're about to do something and it needs immediate attention. Is the first person feeling trapped? Has there been an increase in drugs and alcohol? Has the person been withdrawn from friends, social activities, going inward? Is the person having a dramatic change in appetite, mood? Is the person sleeping a lot? Is the person not sleeping a lot? Is the person being over anxious or having severe anxiety over an extended amount of time? Now, some of these symptoms, like I said, can also be signs of depression or signs of onset or just hormonal. So you have to just be careful and listen to the signs. But the only way you're going to get answers to all those questions is if we pay attention and ask questions. That is the key to mental illness. Remember, the information is all in our minds. And the only way to get that information out of the person's mind is to ask questions, to pull that information out of the individual. Now, let's say that the person follows all those signs and they are showing those symptoms. Now what? What do? Dial 911. Yes. We are all afraid to dial 911 when someone is about to commit suicide. What is the worst thing that can happen than dialing 911? The person dying. And that is your ultimate thing that you don't want to happen. So call 911. The worst thing that can happen when you dial 911 is that the person gets the help they need. Get it? Good. Now, when you call 911, it is very important that you ask for a CIT trained officer. C as in cat, I as in igloo, T as in Tom. CIT officer. You get on the phone and you said, 911, how can I assist you? I need a CIT officer to this address ASAP. A CIT officer will come. A CIT officer is trained in crisis intervention. They will come and they are prepared to take that person to a mental facility, not the jail. There is a difference. There is a huge difference because a CIT officer is trained in handling mental illness and anything that has to do with a crisis of a human matter, not a criminal matter. A crisis of a human matter. CIT. Get it? Okay. Now, while you're waiting for 911 to show up, I want you to call 211 from your cell phones. 211 is an anonymous line. It's 100% confidential. They do not know your phone number that you're calling from, and they will assist you and help you to ask the right questions to avoid that suicide. They are very knowledgeable. They're trained in crisis intervention training. That is their job. Their job, CIT, is 211, Crisis Intervention Team. They're the center that you call, and it's a nationwide crisis intervention center. So make sure that you call that number, 211-911. What can you do as a member of the community, as a human, as a person, as a family member? What can you do to help this person with assisted suicide? Now, what I'm about to tell you is one of the hardest things that I have personally and I've witnessed personally is the hardest thing to do when it comes to suicide. And you'll be surprised how hard it is to do until you actually have to do it. When we think about the word suicide, we tend to get scared. We get scared. I can admit the first time that I had to learn about suicide, I was terrified because of the same reasons. I thought, well, if we talk about suicide, we keep talking about it, isn't that going to encourage the person to do it? No. As a matter of fact, it does the complete opposite. Because remember, suicide is a cry for help. If someone is talking about dying, they're talking about leaving, they're talking about don't want to be here anymore, that's a cause for concern. A major cause for concern. So to ask someone simple questions, these two very simple questions, try it out loud yourself and you'll see how hard it is. When I first asked this question, it felt like I swallowed a watermelon and I couldn't breathe. I really and truly couldn't believe that I had just asked that question. But you know what? It wasn't until after I had the option of actually asking the question and getting the answer did that really cause a panic for me. And the two questions that you're going to ask, and you could randomly ask this to your teenager. I've done it. I've done it many times with my kids. I've asked them, are you thinking about committing suicide? And their normal reaction is, mother, really? Oh, gosh, But if you ask the right child at the right moment, you'll be surprised at the answer that you're going to get. They're going to answer you. And it's an answer you have to be prepared to answer. Those questions are you having thoughts of suicide? Are you thinking about killing yourself? Try right now saying those two questions and you'll feel like you swallowed a watermelon. Those are the two hardest questions in life you'll ever have to ask. If you think a man asking you to marry is tough, no. Asking someone if they're thinking about committing suicide, that is the ultimate hardest question in life you will ever feel to ask someone. But what's the ultimate worst reaction that you can give is you want to be unjudgmental when you ask those questions. You don't want to go, you thinking about committing suicide? No. You want to have a really straight face and really a cause for concern. You want to dig deep inside of your body and find the deepest part of your body that has the biggest compassion and empathy. And you want to turn to the person and ask them, are you thinking about committing suicide? Are you thinking about dying? That's exactly how solid you have to be when you're asking those questions. About 4 months ago, I had to go to a client's home and they had a young teenager and the teenager was acting out. And I turned to the teenager and I asked the teenager, are you thinking about killing yourself? And let me tell you something, I don't care how much training you have had, I don't care how many life experiences you have had, when you get that answer of, yes, I have, your brain, at least my brain, said, wait, hold up a second. We wasn't ready. Hold on. Wait, hold up. 911, hello, we're not ready. But thankfully, my other part of my brain kicked in and went, whoa, stop, emotionless. Next question. And I had to go through the next series of questions to really... I had no time to catch myself and think after that. My mode seriously went into crisis intervention mode. We had to stop what we were thinking about and just basically act on it. And I started asking the next series of questions. Now the key is, when you're asking these questions, like I said, you have to be non-judgmental. No emotions. Take your emotions and how you feel about the situation completely out of the equation, because this is going to be what is going to save that person's life. I seriously had to go, you're in ask and keep asking till 911 arrive mode. That is what you're in. You're in listening and asking mode. That is it. Your opinions are not on trial right now. And you know what? We tend to think of suicide as a very selfish thing. Let me tell you something. Mental illness by itself is selfish. It ain't about you. This is about this person's mind. Mental illness don't care if it's raining or it's shining or if somebody's going to care if they are dead. Mental illness does not care. It does not care. It does not discriminate. It's a very selfish illness. And we need to understand that, and that's why we have to be compassionate when it comes to mental illness. I proceeded to ask the following questions. have you decided on a date as to when you're going to kill yourself? And the child responded with a date. I then asked, have you already purchased the items that you're going to kill yourself with? The child had already bought some knives. I said, do you have the knives in the house? The child said, yes. I said, do you have the knives near you? The child said, yes. I said, do you have the knife on your possession, on your body? The child said, yes. I said, do you have a date and time that you plan to kill yourself? The child said, right now. I said, and how are you going to kill yourself? How are you going to stab yourself? And the child told me they were going to stab themselves in the arm and in the heart and in the lungs. And she proceeded to tell me different places. And there's about 50-something places she told me. And my entire time, my face was like, really? And in my mind was like, wow, this is wow. But I kept my face, and I said, okay. And then after you stab yourself, what else are you going to do after that? And the child told me what her plans were that she was planning to do after that. My point is, if somebody takes the time to detail every detail as to what they plan to do to kill themselves, they have been thinking about this for a long, long time, and they plan to execute this plan. And I just kept asking questions. I kept asking questions such as, do you like the outfit that you're wearing today to kill yourself in? Is that okay? You like those jeans? And I was just spitting out questions until 911 came, because my interior motive the whole time that I'm asking these questions was to keep this child from killing herself and keeping her calm and pulling all that information out of her mind. Now, afterwards, it was so draining. Like, I literally fell on the couch and I couldn't breathe when the child was actually taken away and taken into Baker. I couldn't breathe. I literally couldn't breathe. Now, if you're in a situation where it's just you and the other person, I highly recommend that you sneak away to, not away from the person, but you find a way to dial 911 on your phone so that 911 can hear the questions that you're asking the person. And they can probably tell you two different things to say on the phone and say to ask the person to calm their mind and to pull the information out of their mind as to why they're wanting to commit suicide and that sort of stuff. These are things to do not do. Don't do these. Do not do these. And coming from an island culture, I can tell you that many of these that I'm going to list, that we are all guilty of. Do not use guilt. Do not say that this is a person's fault. Do not use anything negative. Do not say anything such as you're being selfish. Well, duh. Mental illness is a selfish disease. What other thing are they supposed to do but be selfish? Don't say that. Don't say that. For God's sakes, don't tell them they're going to hell. Don't tell them they're going to hell. Do not tell the person that they're going to hell. Think about the people you will leave behind. That person don't care. You really and truly think they care? Their whole entire plan was to kill themselves. You really and truly think the last thing on that person's mind is, oh, I wonder if anybody's going to miss me when I'm gone. They don't care. Mental illness is selfish. Selfish. They don't care, so don't ask it. This ain't about you. First of all, you need to only ask questions. You should not even be saying anything because you're not on Broadway right now. This person is on Broadway. This is their time. You need to take your selfishness out and put it in front of that person. Learn to be kind and compassionate and just keep your mouth shut and only ask questions. No opinions of yours is needed or necessary or warranted at this particular moment. Seriously. Another thing to don't say. How could you think of such a thing after all these things I've done for them? They don't care. They do not care. Mental illness does not care. No, it does not. Do not mention what is it about the Bible about committing suicide. The person does not care what the Bible have to say right now. No. Don't say it. Nope, don't say it. They don't care. Mental illness does not care. It does not care. Do not show emotions. Put your hands down if you have to. Make your eyes serious. Put your face in serious mode. This is not a laughing matter. You are in crisis mode. Do not show emotions. Do not cry. This is not about you. This is about this other person. Take every emotion you have in your body and hide it away until this person is safe. Don't show it. Don't you dare show any emotions. No, none of that. Do not show any of that. Got it? Whatever you do, the most important thing, number one thing to do not freak out. Don't freak out. Do not. Don't go like this. Don't do what I'm doing now. Don't freak out. Oh my God. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, if you have any questions, please call the National Suicide Hotline, 1-800-SUICIDE. Thank you all for listening, and have a blessed and wonderful rest of your evening, day, or wherever time of day it is. This is Ms. Yassy signing off. Save one. Together. Let's make it. Let's do it. Don't forget, donate, donate, donate. This information is coming to the United States Virgin Islands on October 15th. 2015. So let's go. Let's do this. Donate, donate. Click the link above. Share this video. We need your help. Urban America, United States, we all do. Mental illness does not discriminate. Bye, y'all.